Cardiovascular disease is the #1 killer of people worldwide. Unfortunately, it's even worse for the African American community. It's time to change this sad reality. This presentation will help you clearly understand the need to properly nourish the one organ that makes all the difference. This information is life-changing, and we guarantee that you'll come away with a clear plan of action that will significantly lower your risk for cardiovascular disease. Now, before we talk about the organ that is critical to your cardiovascular health, and this organ is not your heart, it's important for you to understand the depth of cardiovascular disease confronting the African American community. As we list each of these ailments, we want you to think in terms of people you know who are confronted daily by these health issues. There is a human cost that is being paid, and it doesn't have to be this way. Diabetes. Type 2 diabetes has grown to epidemic proportions in the United States. People with diabetes have a greater risk for stroke, heart disease, and circulation issues. Twice as many African Americans will develop diabetes when compared to the Caucasian community. Heart disease. African American women in the age range from 25 to 44 have a 2.5 times greater risk for coronary heart disease, and African American men have a 1.5 times greater risk than the Caucasian community. High blood pressure. The American Heart Association estimates that 28% of African American adults and more than 66% of African Americans over the age of 60 have high blood pressure. Erectile dysfunction affects 50% of the male population over the age of 40, and this is even greater in the African American community. High cholesterol levels. High blood cholesterol is a significant risk factor for heart disease. Unfortunately, 50% of African American men and 54% of women have too much cholesterol circulating in their bloodstream. Stroke. African Americans are twice as likely to die from a stroke as Caucasians. The rate of having your first stroke is almost double that of Caucasians. 1/2 of all African American women will die from either a stroke or heart disease. That's quite a list of ailments affecting African Americans. It can be depressing until you look closely at all 6 health issues. When you do, you will see that there is one common factor to all of them. It's your cardiovascular system. The key to reducing your risk for cardiovascular disease is to learn how to properly nourish the one organ that determines most of your cardiovascular health. This organ is called the endothelium. It's the largest secreting organ in your body and critical to your cardiovascular health. Your endothelium is only 1 cell thick, but it lines the inside of your heart. The inside of all your arteries and arterioles, veins, and venules are lined by this organ. Your capillaries are just extensions of the endothelium. Research over the last 10 years has clearly shown the endothelium to be a multifunctional organ involved in metabolic, immunologic, and cardiovascular health. One of those functions is to convert the amino acid L-arginine into nitric oxide, the master signaling molecule of your entire cardiovascular system. This is so important to your cardiovascular health that the 1998 Nobel Prize in Medicine was awarded to 3 American researchers who discovered how your endothelium converts the amino acid L-arginine into nitric oxide. Again, the master signaling molecule of your entire cardiovascular system. One of these Nobel laureates is Dr. Louis J. Ignarro, who wrote a national bestseller called No More Heart Disease. We'd like to focus on the subtitle of his book. It says, quote, "How Nitric Oxide Can Prevent, Even Reverse, Heart Disease and Strokes," end of quote. Additionally, Dr. John Cook, the director of vascular medicine at Stanford University, published a book called The Cardiovascular Cure. Notice his subtitle, How to Strengthen Your Self-Defense Against Heart Attack and Stroke. Dr. Cook goes on to say the following, quote, "This book will introduce you to the magic that is inside your blood vessels. It comes in the shape of a molecule, one of the simplest molecules found in nature. This molecule is nitric oxide, or NO, a substance so powerful that it can actually protect you from heart attack and stroke. Best of all, your body can make it on its own. Nitric oxide is your body's own built-in natural protection against heart disease." End of quote. Unfortunately, this is not the message given to African Americans about improving their cardiovascular health. After reviewing all the prominent sites devoted to heart health, here is a summary of their list of recommendations. All wonderful recommendations to help you improve your health, but no one mentions the importance of properly nourishing your endothelium for improved nitric oxide production. Proper nitric oxide levels in your bloodstream are critical, but before we talk about some of the specific functions of nitric oxide, I'd like to put this slide on the screen. 77% of Americans treated for a first stroke had high blood pressure. 69% of Americans who have a first heart attack have high blood pressure. 74% of Americans with congestive heart failure have high blood pressure, and 66% of Americans with diabetes have high blood pressure. These statistics apply to Americans in general. However, they're even higher in the African American community. As you can clearly see, high blood pressure is a common ailment of all four of these cardiovascular health issues. Additionally, a blood clot formation that lodges in a vascular artery is usually the reason for a stroke or heart attack. The vast majority of these diseases are a result of endothelial cell dysfunction and its inability to properly produce nitric oxide. This information helps us to clearly identify three keys to solving most of the cardiovascular issues affecting African Americans. They are controlling blood pressure, preventing blood clots, and reversing endothelial cell dysfunction. Here's how nitric oxide directly addresses each of these keys. First, nitric oxide is your body's most powerful vasodilator. What this means is that nitric oxide causes the smooth muscle of your vascular wall to relax, which helps to keep your blood pressure in a normal range. That would directly benefit our first key of controlling blood pressure. Second, nitric oxide keeps blood platelet cells from sticking together to naturally prevent blood clots. This would reduce the number one cause of strokes and heart attacks and directly address our second key. Third, nitric oxide helps to repair damage done to the endothelium and keep it free from plaque formations and calcification. Plaque formations result in the disease called atherosclerosis, and calcification results in the disease called arterial sclerosis. According to the American Heart Association, 74% of all cardiovascular disease is related to these two issues. Proper levels of nitric oxide can help to prevent both of them. This directly addresses the last key of helping to reverse endothelial cell dysfunction. Additionally, there are two genetic polymorphisms or predispositions that are inherent to the African American community. The first genetic predisposition causes African Americans to have higher levels of an enzyme called arginase in their bloodstream. Everyone carries arginase. It's used to help your body rid itself of harmful ammonia waste products. Unfortunately, arginase converts L-arginine into another chemical compound which can severely reduce the endothelium's ability to properly produce nitric oxide. The second genetic predisposition causes African Americans to have low to insufficient levels of vitamin D in their bloodstream. This can lead to bone density issues, muscular weakness, cognitive impairment, cancer, increased risk for diabetes, and an increased risk for cardiovascular disease. So, how do you combat these issues and help your endothelium create this nitric oxide? For the creation of nitric oxide, there are two important amino acids needed. They are L-arginine and L-citrulline. Your endothelium directly converts L-arginine into nitric oxide, but it needs a certain level. Most research indicates that for you to receive a therapeutic benefit from L-arginine, you need to consume at least 5 grams of this amino acid at one time. So we selected 6 food items that we thought would be common food choices. We did the math conversions to look at how much food you would need to eat to take in 5 grams of L-arginine. We also looked at the number of calories and grams of fat it would bring into your body. As you can see by the slide, peanuts provide the smallest quantity of food, but they pack on 70 grams of fat and 918 calories. When you examine this slide, you can see that the three best choices are 1 can of beans or 2 cans of tuna, or almost 1 pound of chicken are needed on a daily basis. For L-citrulline, you only have one good choice, which is watermelon. Unfortunately, 60% of the L-citrulline is contained in the rind portion, which most people typically throw away. So unless you juice the entire watermelon, most people do not get adequate amounts of L-citrulline to help turbocharge their endothelium's ability to properly produce nitric oxide. Which brings us to the question, is it better to get these critical amino acids through supplementation? After much research and study, we've determined that the best nitric oxide supplement in the marketplace is Proagenate Plus, distributed by Synergy worldwide and manufactured in the United States by Nature's Sunshine Products. Both Synergy Worldwide and Nature's Sunshine have received the NSF Good Manufacturing certification, which means that they meet the highest standards in the nutrition industry for quality assurance and control. The manufacturing process to create the proprietary formulation of Proagenate Plus is second to none. A total of 262 tests are conducted along the various stages of manufacturing to ensure the highest quality and potency of the ingredients used. In addition to having the right blend of L-arginine and L-citrulline, Proagenate Plus also includes the following ingredients to help turbocharge your endothelium's ability to produce therapeutic levels of nitric oxide over an extended period of time. We're not going to go into detail about each ingredient, but we would like to highlight 3, which would help you better understand the science that went into the design of this product and directly addresses some of the biochemistry issues facing African Americans. We want to highlight vitamins D3 and K2. You need vitamin D3 to help your body properly absorb calcium. You need vitamin K2 to help your body properly direct where calcium goes. Calcium is extremely important for your body, not just for bone health and the prevention of osteoporosis, but also for a wide variety of cellular reactions, one of which is the creation of nitric oxide. We're going to use the following illustration to help you understand the importance of calcium in nitric oxide production. If you walk into a dark room and you want the lights on, you flip the switch on the wall. If you look at nitric oxide as the light, the wiring in the wall as the enzymatic process the endothelium uses to create nitric oxide, and L-arginine as the electricity, then the switch is calcium. Calcium starts the reaction. Vitamin D3 and vitamin K2 help to regulate your calcium levels in your bloodstream so that this reaction can properly take place. Each scoop of Proagenate Plus has 2,500 international units of vitamin D3 to help properly raise your vitamin D levels in your bloodstream. Proagenate Plus also contains the amino acid L-citrulline. Not only does your body use L-citrulline to recycle L-arginine to turbocharge your endothelium's ability to properly produce nitric oxide over an extended period of time, but it also provides the endothelium an alternative pathway to counter the negative effects arginase has on L-arginine. Rather than be limited in the production of nitric oxide, the body can convert L-citrulline to L-arginine to bypass the arginase enzyme, allowing the endothelium to naturally produce nitric oxide. So what does all this information mean to you? Well, a healthy endothelium equals a healthy cardiovascular system. The health of your endothelium and its ability to properly produce nitric oxide can potentially reduce your risk for high blood pressure, cholesterol concerns, diabetic complications, and other cardiovascular issues that have shortened the lifespan of so many African Americans. We believe Proagenate Plus can help you properly nourish your endothelium for improved nitric oxide production, help to bypass the negative effects of the enzyme arginase, and help to improve vitamin D levels in your bloodstream to combat the negative effects of premature cardiovascular aging. Since most of your life revolves around your cardiovascular system, any improvements typically result in improved cell, tissue, and organ function. This leaves us with a final question. Would you like to take the 90-day health challenge? to see if Pyrogenite Plus can help you improve your cardiovascular health. If your answer is yes, then please contact us directly at the Synergy Co-op. Our mission is to save millions of lives from the #1 killer of men and women worldwide, which is cardiovascular disease. We'll work with you to help you properly nourish your endothelium for improved nitric oxide production. For most people, this leads to improved circulation, which has helped many African Americans see significant improvements in their cardiovascular health. Please call us today using our toll-free number.